Hi, my name's Hannah Alexander, and this is my Unit C final project. I will be explaining what we've learned in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens in the chloroplast of the plant cell. The makeup of the chloroplast is an inner and outer layer, which are called an envelope. In the inner layer, there is layers of thylakoids. A whole layer of thylakoids is called a granum, and the area around the thylakoids is called the stroma. There are two cycles in photosynthesis, the light-dependent system and the light-independent system. The light-dependent system happens in the thylakoid, and the light-independent system happens in the stroma. The overview of photosynthesis, so the broad area of it, is light photons will go into the thylakoid and have a light reaction with water that goes in, and the water will break down, and oxygen will come out of that. Then we have some ADP plus and NADP plus movement from the Calvin cycle into the light reaction, and then we have some ATP, NADPH movement from the light reaction into the Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle creates G3P, which turns into glucose, and glucose will turn into sucrose and cellulose. Sucrose is what we ingest through fruit. The Calvin cycle needs CO2, so carbon dioxide, to happen. Now I'm going to explain the light reaction. This happens in the thylakoid of the cell. We start with a light photon hitting photosystem 2, which excites an electron, and it travels through the electron transport system. It reaches a spot and it releases hydrogen atoms into the thylakoid. And next it goes to photosystem 1. By the time it hits photosystem 1, it's very drained of energy because it's been traveling. So another light photon hits it and it excites it back up. It goes to another spot and an NADP plus is there, and it excites it and, it energizes it and turns it into NADPH. That electron is now gone, so we have to find another electron. This is where water comes in. Water comes up and goes through a photolysis, and it technically breaks down the water. So we get two water molecules come in, and we get an O2, so oxygen, which we don't need anymore, so it gets released into the environment for us to breathe, and we're hydrogens. These hydrogens collect into the ATP synthase, and it turns NADP and phosphorus into ATP, and then the cycle continues. Next we have the Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle happens in the stroma of the cell. The Calvin cycle is broken into three parts. We have carbon fixation, carbon reduction, and regeneration of RUBP. In carbon fixation, we take a RUBP molecule and carbon dioxide, and it turns into a 6-molecule unstable molecule, which then breaks down into 2,3-GPs. Next we go into the carbon reduction. So we take 6 ATP from the light system and 6 NADPH from the light system, and the 2,3-GPs with the energy from the ATP and the NADPH turn into G3P. The ATP and NADPHs then return into ADP and NADP plus and go back to the light system. one G3P turns into glucose after the cycle turns 6 times, and the rest go to the regeneration of RUBP. In the regeneration of RUBP, we take G3P that we made before and 3 ATPs, and it turns into RUBP. ATP is then back into ADP and returns back to the light system to turn back into ATP for use. The cycle continues.